some of you know, I recently started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and although I haven't trained that long, I decided to enter a contest. So this video is gonna be me reacting to my 4 fights during the contest. And shout out to my man Arash for giving me this gi. I haven't trained in it yet, I've only done no gi, and these fights are all gonna be no gi as well. So this is a no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu contest and what's called CM Sub Challenge. It's my first time competing in grappling after having trained for about 3 months. So my opponent is more experienced, and here it brings me down, controlling my head. He's got a headlock. Tries to catch my back, but I put my back to the ground and almost we're back up standing. And all of my opponents, I was lucky to have 4 fights, so more experience for me, but all of them were more experienced. It was in the beginner division, but that ranges between 0 to 2 years of training. So you can start out having just trained 1 month or just a few months, and I'd only trained I think 3 months. Yeah, I tried to use my weight, but he's got me in a headlock, but not really a submission. Again, try to do an arm drag and I escape the guillotine attempt, I think it was. Now, apologies if I make mistakes trying to call the action. I'm still new to the game of grappling. We're trying to, similar to Muay Thai, where you're fighting for inside control. And he trips me, and he gets side control, and I roll, and we both get up, but he pushes me down again. And he goes for my back. Now I bring out the legs to prevent him hooking me with his legs. It's a great workout, grappling, especially when you're new and likely to be put in a lot of bad situations. It looks hard, and it's even harder, I would say, than it looks. And again, he's got my back. And I managed to turn to him, but he maintains control and it's almost in side control position. Perhaps trying to go for a north and south. And he's got my back here, and this is a dangerous situation. And I use both my hands to defend. And eventually I tap. So just briefly after this fight, I went into my next one. And again, a bigger opponent. Actually, the weight division here was the 79 kilos. So they ranged between 69 kilos and the next one was 79. So there's a 10 kilo difference between the two, and then it just goes up from there. But I weighed in at only 70 kilos, so I would have either been the biggest guy in the 69 kilo division if I'd lost a bit of weight. But this was just an experience, so I wasn't trying to cut any weight. I wasn't even aware of how much I weighed. But I was definitely the smaller guy in all of these fights. And so here I got him in close guard, but he's doing a good job of stacking me. And I tried to grab his heels, trying to go for a takedown. I don't think that would be possible, but I'm improvising. Try to establish a high mount, but he's got good posture and he's trying to go for the side control position, I think. And he's pushing down with all his weight. And he's almost in mount, but I've got a half guard. He pushes down on my knee, trying to pass my guard. Wrist control, and I need to be careful here. He's trying to slide his arm in to go for the Americana, I think it is. I'm in a bad position. I've got my back turned a bit too much towards him. It would be better if I could turn my knees in the opposite direction, but I'm trying to maintain the hooks in his legs. I'm in defensive mode, and throughout these fights I spend a lot of energy trying to defend myself, just not making it easy for them to finish me. I try to go for a roll. Here's a better half guard position. He's trying to get his hooks in. He's got both hooks in. He's trying to flatten me out, and I'm doing my best to survive. Trying to fight his grip and also to move away with my head, and I managed to get up. I was definitely tired here. Also, this was my second match with just about 5 minutes in between, I think. We're clinching. It's best to get the inside position, like in Muay Thai. And here, he's in side control, which is a bad position for me to be in. I'm trying to get my knees in between us, and I manage it. And so there, I think I tried briefly to go for an optimistic triangle choke, but he pushed my knee down. Here he's controlling me, trying to get to back mount. I think I'm doing a good job defending, at least considering that I've only trained a few months. But this is so much harder than grappling with someone without experience or even with similar level of experience as me. For the most part, in class, when I get to roll, it's always against more experienced opponents. And he's trying to push my elbow up and perhaps trying to set up a hidden arm choke there, but we move into a different position. He's putting his weight on me again. He goes for my back. And this is actually a submission. He's holding, covering my options to breathe, both my nose and mouth. And let's just watch that one again here towards the end. This is called the gas mask choke, I believe, what is coming up. And my coach at Rumble Sports, Frank Hødehøj, who's an expert in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's put me in a position a lot of times where I have no control because he's got my legs controlled and he's got my arms controlled. But in this case, he applied the gas choke, and I would normally think that it would be possible for me to defend because I have two hands here to try and push his hands away from my nose and mouth and be able to breathe. But having grappled for several minutes and been in defense all the time, I was already tired, and as soon as he covered my mouth and nose, it just went almost completely limp. So there was just no power for me to defend, and eventually I tap out. Okay, so I think there was 1 or 2 fights or something, and then the third fight I was still tired and progressively getting more tired. This guy I've rolled with before actually. He's from the same gym as me, Rumble Sports, and he's definitely a more experienced and skilled grappler. The 2 previous opponents were from different gyms. So here I tried to get perhaps a triangle or something, but he's up way too high for me to secure it. And I'm trying to pull him into my guard. And I close up the guard, but we're too close to the mirror. And so we restart in the same position. I think this guy is probably heavier than me, like in the other fights, but the weight difference is less this time around, I think. And so I'm trying to control his posture, his head, seeing if I can isolate an arm or something, but he's stacking me. Need to work on that, getting better at taking advantage of the guard, the close guard, and I'm still trying to see if I can do something from this position, but he passes my guard and he's in side control. And rather than turn this way, it would be better if I could get my knees in between us. Yeah, more like this, but he maintains control. And I'm pushing at his hip, trying to follow so he can't move past me. And he's in half guard. I've got single underhook. I try to bridge and do a sweep, but I've managed to bridge and sweep from mount a lot of times against non-grapplers in sparring, but it's a different story against someone who knows how to use his weight. So I definitely need to improve my technique, and also learn some different ways of sweeping. But again, I'm very new to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so but I already feel I have an edge over people who haven't trained grappling, or even if it's against someone who's only trained judo as long as me. Judo is a great art, so the art of throwing especially, but in terms of submissions, I feel based on a few times rolling with new judo players, I feel I have an advantage. But of course, every fight is different, and it's definitely controlling the fight. But I'm managing to avoid submissions thus far, but here he's putting pressure, I think, my elbow joint, and he's trying to get get a mounted triangle, I think, but it's not a triangle choke, I don't think. It's actually pretty close to a triangle choke because he's got my arm and he pushes it. This might be the end. I think it was actually. Let's see how long I managed to. Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's watch the finish again. So I think this was actually, if I'm not mistaken, a mounted triangle choke. So he needs to push my arm in the other direction so that my shoulder is putting pressure on the side of my neck, and there's pressure from his knee on the other side of the neck. And yeah, nice finish. And so, not that long after, I had my fourth and final fight. Let's do full screen. And yeah, I was pretty tired, but great experience. I was trying to establish wrist control. Got his neck, but he goes down before I managed to sink in a headlock. And I've got him in closed guard. I'm trying to go for a triangle, but he stacks me a bit, and now I'm in only half guard. And he tries to pass. He's trying to pass me, so I push at his knee, but he's trying to go for a side control, I think. Now mount, I accidentally held his pants there, which is not allowed. You're not allowed to do small joint manipulation either, obviously, as it's dangerous, or even grab onto 3 fingers to defend from a choke. It has to be 4 at least. Anyways, He's trying to perhaps go for a Kimura, I'm not sure. He's got the body triangle. Now I'm leaning forward, trying to make it difficult for him to control my upper body and sink in a choke. And I'm trying to turn towards him so he can't land a rear naked choke, but he does a good job. And this is dangerous position here. It's a bit difficult to see what's going on, but I believe I have my chin down, and yeah, I'm defending with my hands, so he doesn't have the choke yet. Now perhaps an armbar attempt. He's going for the armbar, but watch this defense. I'm holding on to my own leg and then I'm locking my leg with the other leg, just doing all I can to defend. But now he's in a much better position to finish, and he finishes me with the armbar. Let's watch that one again as well. So I think I did a good job trying to defend. I haven't learned a defense for the armbar yet, so there might be a better way of doing it. I'm not sure, but I use my legs here, bring them close to my hands so I can grab onto my hand, and then I lock my leg with the other leg. This is called the figure four position, I believe. And thus he's fighting with both his arms against not just one arm, but also my two legs as well. And I managed to defend until he breaks up my grip here. And here it's already over, pretty much. Anyways, that's the finish. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know if you're not used to watching grappling, perhaps you won't pick up on as much, so I tried to provide some details in commentary, but I'm also new to grappling, and of course this wasn't expert level, especially not on my part. My opponents did a great job, I think, and I also feel I fought hard and showed fighting spirit, especially being on the defense in 4 fights in a row almost. So I'll still be doing Kung Fu as well, and more kickboxing with my Kung Fu kicks and just mixing things up. So you can expect a lot of different types of sparring, a lot of different types of tutorials. Perhaps we'll do some vlogs against. I haven't vlogged in a while, but if you're interested in watching those, you can check out the playlist, the occasional vlogs and montages, and anything you'd like me to cover in a video, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you're not subscribed yet, then definitely check out some more of my content, and if you enjoy what I do, then hit subscribe and hit the bell icon as well for post notifications. Thanks for watching.